Welcome back to Friday, folks, and welcome to Yarmouth. It's me, Scott, and welcome to this week's Friday 5. Now, it's starting to feel like winter, right? My toes are frozen, but that's not going to stop me from sharing 5 really fun businesses and activities that are going on this week in Yarmouth. So welcome to this week's Friday 5. Number 1, we're getting things kicked off this week in front of the First Parish Church here on Main Street, also home to the Yarmouth Food Pantry. I mentioned many Friday 5s ago that food security continues to be a problem here in Yarmouth, and a growing number of families rely on the food pantry every week for food security. And so they generally get a lot of donations during the holiday seasons, but they are low. And so if you have non-perishable foods, canned goods, pastas, anything like that, you can either drop off donations at Yarmouth Community Services or at the food pantry itself. There's a small deck box that's next to the entranceway. Any and all donations are welcome, and we really appreciate your help. Behind me is the former 233 Bistro building, and looks a little different than it used to, and we've gotten a few calls on, hey, what's going on over there? So we've got a 2-for-1 special for you today. We have a business spotlight, and we also have a little bit of behind the scenes on what might be going on the inside. So come on. I'm here with Jill Partridge, owner of Reform Physical Therapy. Now, you're not new to Yarmouth, but you have a new home.
We do. Here on 233 US Route 1. We are moving here next week.
That's amazing.
It is.
Like I said, so you're probably have folks in town who come and visit you and use your services. Tell us a little bit more about Reform.
Yeah, we've been here since 2018 in Yarmouth, and we're moving to this new space. It's bigger and it fits our needs a little bit better. We treat physical therapy needs, and we treat one-on-one, and we're happy to be part of the Yarmouth community.
We want to make sure we highlight this early in January, because if there's probably more people like me who just want to lose all 50 pounds in the first 2 weeks of January, I might need to come and see you.
Absolutely.
So.
No.
It's amazing.
We see a lot of those that try to, get out there on 1-1 and change their whole physique overnight and end up hurting themselves, which is always a downfall of the new year, right?
It is indeed. This place looks amazing and open and airy, but I'm going to guess that it's going to look a little different in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be a small treatment area in this area here. Out back here will be our bigger treatment area, where there'll probably be, I'd say 6 or 7 beds, and then some small equipment that we use throughout the day.
Great. How many providers do you have here in Yarmouth?
We have 4. We just hired our 4th back in October, and so we're excited about that, and hoping to grow a little bit more this year with the new space. We have an open house coming up February 26th that everyone is invited to, from 5 to 7. So we'll have a ribbon cutting that day, and we're excited about it.
It's amazing. And
Thank you.
This is a wonderful example of a Yarmouth business who's investing in Yarmouth, growing in Yarmouth, and just growing as a company. It's amazing all throughout southern Maine. So Jill, thanks again for having us.
Thank you, Scott.
We'll see you at the next spot.
Thank you.
Number 3, anybody who spent any time at Yarmouth High School knows my next guest. I'm here with Lori King, who has a really exciting and fuzzy, warm and fuzzy, I should say, event coming up next week. You want to tell us more about it?
So thank you, Scott. We're having Flannel Friday on January 17th. Now, Flannel Friday was started 4 years ago at Yarmouth High School. All the kids wore flannel, and I paid for every kid who was wearing flannel and gave a donation to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And it just took off from there. So the year after that, we did all the schools, and not only do I pay for people wearing flannel, but people also make donations. In the last 3 years, we've raised over $4,000 for research. The reason why I'm trying to take it townwide this year is because this is my 50th anniversary with diabetes. Now, maybe I shouldn't celebrate the anniversary, but the reason why I am alive and well and doing so good is because of the research that's been done. When I got it, there were none of the tools that I have now. The other thing that's really important about Flannel Friday is to let kids and adults know that you can live full, good lives even with a chronic illness, and we just want to spread that awareness around town. We have a lot of kids in our system that have diabetes, a lot of kids in town, and we want everyone to know, yeah, it's a 24/7 disease, but because of the research that's been done, people can live wonderful lives.
Well, Lori, I'm glad that we got the memo today and I got your matching outfit,
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that folks can help participate, maybe donate towards a cause. How can businesses and folks who are watching this get involved?
So we're gonna have things on the community page on Facebook. I'm gonna actually go to the businesses and bring you a flyer and information on what to do. There should be enough places where there's a QR code where you can donate. Also on that poster, it says that you can make out a check to the organization and mail it to my house, because a lot of people want the tax reasons. But I brought a picture of my one and only grandson who is in for Flannel Friday. He should be here next week. He's got 2 diabetic grandparents, insulin-dependent diabetic grandparents. We really hope by the time, God forbid, he gets it, there'll be a cure.
Well, you're doing unbelievable work and wish you all nothing but the best. Make sure you have your flannel all washed and pressed and ready to go for next Friday, and hopefully we'll see lots of buffalo plaid print around town.
And who in Maine doesn't want to wear flannel?
That's right.
So thank you very much, Scott.
Lori, thank you, and we'll on to the next item. Number 4. Today we're at the Yarmouth Wastewater Treatment Facility. I'm here with Chris Klein, our superintendent for wastewater, and a good friend, Gib Parrish, from the Yarmouth Public Health Council. First try. Formerly known as the Community Coronavirus Task Force, which you probably know, and we thank you for your work during that time, but don't hope to never go back to that. Anyway, so we're here at the wastewater treatment plant to sort of showcase a really interesting community process and project that's been going on for the last several years, and through the volunteerism of Gib and other folks from the Health Council. I'm going to let you dive into it, but we're sort of take some unique samples and learn some things as we go along. Gib, what can you tell us about it?
Well, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge Chris and the folks here, the staff here at the treatment plant, because they're the ones who do the collection of the wastewater sample that we ultimately use to test for various kinds of virus and make that ready for us twice a week. And that's a lot of work too. And then once that sample has been collected, it's brought here into this lab, which is at the main building at the wastewater treatment plant. And it's here that I actually take that sample and then put it into these test tubes, which are then packaged up in materials that are then sent off to 2 separate laboratories for the actual analysis for the viruses of interest. And the original program did just the coronavirus, but it has now expanded to doing coronavirus, influenza A and B viruses, respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV as many people know it, and also finally monkeypox virus. So that's the testing program that we're doing at the present time. As Chris said earlier, or maybe it was you, Scott, the program started in September of 2020, and at that point, staff here at the wastewater treatment facility were essentially doing all of the work, and then we transported, some volunteers transported the samples to a laboratory for processing. But then in September 2023, we actually began helping out with the actual processing of samples here to take some burden off of the folks at the wastewater treatment plant. So I've been doing this with some help from a couple of other volunteers for the last, a little over a year. And it's been going well.
Gib, it's good to know you don't just look like Bill Nye. You know some science too. That's great. It's amazing. So where can people find out more information? Because you said that the data gets analyzed and then it must be shared somewhere. Where can people find more information?
Actually, let me reach over here for just a second. I just printed out, there's a report that we do. This is available online. But we do this every 2 to 8 weeks, depending on how much viruses are circulating. So there's, for example, less in the summer and more in the winter. It's more frequently done. And it's available on the Be Well Yarmouth website.
Great.
That's the easiest place, and you can find the report. We have with each report a little thing we call the COVIDometer, which gives a sense of the levels in sort of a very easy to grasp graphic.
Great. It's amazing. So yeah, in addition to the coronavirus, it also includes the influenza A, influenza B, and RSV.
And RSV,
monkeypox.
exactly.
It's amazing. So that, and then you also have a social media presence. You post that as well, right?
Yes, there's also a posting on the Yarmouth Facebook site,
Great.
which is handled by a couple of other volunteers. And that's done for alert people to sort of the overview, and also if there has to be some alerts in between these reports.
Great. So if you're interested in learning more about this, we'll include the Be Well Yarmouth website at below, and check out Facebook for the Yarmouth Public Health Council. Thanks, Gib. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Number 5, we're wrapping things up this week at the Yarmouth Transfer Station and Recycling Center, everyone's favorite public forum. Now, with the new year means new transfer station stickers. And when you come to the town office and pick those up from one of our wonderful front desk personnel, it's a lot easier for you and for us if you have valid registrations for any of the vehicles that you'd like to have stickers put on. So when you come in to do that, remember. Now, with that, we're going to wrap up for this week. We've had a lot of wonderful guests, a lot of really cool things. And again, if there's anything you'd like to learn more about, or a business or a nonprofit that you'd like to showcase, feel free to send me an email. We'd love to hear from you. Frankly, some of our content today was from suggestions from folks in town, so we'd love to hear from you. Anyways, with that, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next Friday.